In today's video, we're going to be taking a look here at the current conditions and diving into the upcoming pattern where we have a lot to talk about. Let's just get straight into things though. And first things first, we're taking a look at our current conditions here. And you can tell there's multiple areas dealing with some storminess here, including most of the western United States here. We see from Washington down through Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Nevada, California, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado. I could have just said all the western states there, but basically every single state has some pockets of showers going on at this point. Basically anywhere west of the Rockies at this point, we're seeing that activity taking place. There is some leftover activity here on the eastern seaboard as well, but not quite as much as what we're seeing in the west. So let's just zoom into some of these different regions here and break it down. We can see for the Pacific Northwest, there's an interesting flow going on here because we're seeing offshore, we're seeing things move south, and basically onshore and in the more inland regions of these states, we're seeing things move northward. And then it's funny, in between here, what we're seeing here for the more coastal regions of Oregon and Washington is stationary. We're seeing these showers almost just not move at all, which is fairly interesting in my opinion. But some of these are actually heavier. I will say some of these that were moving through Montana, especially there, we were seeing moderate to even heavy rainfall, potentially even thunderstorms happening here in the northern Rockies, which is pretty interesting. As we move a little bit further south here, we can see that for California and Nevada, these are a little bit more stationary, a little bit like what we were seeing there in Washington and Oregon, just very, very stationary here with these showers. For the four corner states, we see it's a bit widespread. There is some more moderate pockets of this, but there's also some pockets that are lighter in here as well. Obviously, your lighter greens here are going to be your lighter, and then your dark green through your yellow is going to be more moderate, and then your oranges and reds are going to be your heavier rainfall there. We do have some rain showers moving through here for Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota. These are looking more like isolated thunderstorms to me, in my opinion. Keep that in mind as we move through the day today. For northern Minnesota, we could have some thunderstorms moving through later today. There is some thunderstorms here along the Georgia-Florida border there. So we're seeing some of these move through areas like Brunswick and heading towards Jacksonville, Florida there. We even have a severe thunderstorm warning along I-75 there, as you can see, popping up right there. That just came through. So we're seeing some more heavy thunderstorms for this area. Also, while we're at it, I do notice that there is some showers and thunderstorms heading towards southern Texas here. So keep that in mind as we move through today as well. That there will be some thunderstorms heading onshore later on today from the coast. Probably nothing you guys aren't used to though. And then we do have some showery activity up here for the northeast as well with this low that's kind of diving down actually, it looks like. So we could have more and more rainfall here for New England happening later today. So keep that in mind as well. All right, now what we're going to do here is we're going to move on. We're going to take a look at the upcoming pattern and just dive into the upcoming stormy pattern, the upcoming temperature pattern, as well as some upcoming severe weather. Now, as we just dive into this upcoming pattern, we're going to move towards this afternoon. Things are looking a bit quieter in the upcoming pattern. I will say we do have this giant ridge and giant trough going on. Obviously, it was very hot in the eastern United States yesterday, but that cold front came through. And now what we're dealing with is cooler temperatures. And by cooler, I mean mostly lower 80s for most folks, even upper 70s for some guys. So we're really seeing a lot of you folks seeing cooler temperatures than what you're used to. We do see that there's warmer temperatures surging here into areas just east of the Rockies and maybe even over the Rockies as well. So we're seeing those hotter temperatures move up there. And then for the west coast, especially the northwest, we're seeing stormy and cooler here as well. This is a very interesting pattern for late June because usually this is more of a wintertime thing. Usually the jet stream is a lot flatter than this time of year, but hey, we're not seeing that today. We're seeing much more dramatic troughs and ridges here. Very interesting. I mean, it really is an interesting setup and it fascinates me a lot. But we're seeing, just like this, a lot of storminess still over the west. We do see some down here for Florida as well. And some for the northeastern corner of the United States, but really not that much. Again, it's going to be fairly quiet, actually. The east is relatively quiet still, and the west is stormy for the most part still. Something like this with the jet stream. We have a big storm system still out there. By the time we reach Tuesday, what happens is we start to enter into this potential heat wave. So the ridge is mostly located over the eastern United States now. It's moved courses to the eastern United States Now that's where all the warm air is headed. A lot of cooler air is heading to the northwest and a lot of the north central United States for the most part. Monday, we see some storminess here for the Four Corner states as well as the Mid-Atlantic. Wednesday, that's going to be June 22nd. We see for the western regions of Canada, we're seeing a lot of storminess as well. By the time we reach Thursday, we see a low offshore. Pretty interesting. This could be a tropical system that this model's picking up on. Homegrown tropical system kind of. We see some storminess here along the eastern United States still on Thursday. Oh, wow, it does look like a bit of a tropical storm that tries to get going there. Look at that. So it starts out here, and then it kind of loops back around, and then does something like this. Very interesting. So that could be a potential tropical system to watch. It's 100 hours out, which isn't too far, so we'll have to watch that for some development here. And then we see just really overall a lot of storminess that comes with this for the eastern United States, the Mid-Atlantic, the Southeast, the Northeast. I wonder if this will stick around or if it'll end up going away, but only time will be able to tell. That storminess does stick around through Sunday and even into Monday here. So very, very interesting setup we find ourselves in along the eastern seaboard there. All right, now, total precipitation through the next 10 days. Here we are. If you're anywhere in the whites, you're expecting practically no precipitation. A lot of that is in the eastern United States, as you can see, so it is going to be quieter, like I mentioned. If you're anywhere in the grays, you're expecting about a tenth of an inch or less of precipitation. Greens will be about a tenth of an inch to half an inch of precipitation. Your blues will be half an inch to an inch. Your yellows will be an inch to 2 inches. And then your reds will be 2 to 5 inches of precipitation. And even some browns. I see some of that for Florida, Connecticut there as well. Just some oddball states there seeing that. But that's where we're at, about 5+ inches of precipitation. Anyway, here's the total snowfall. And if you're anywhere in the grays, you're expecting about a dusting, if anything. If you're anywhere in the blues, you're expecting 2 to 6 inches of snowfall. Purples will be 6 to 10, and then your pinks will be 10 to 20, as well as pastels being 20 inches plus. So that's where we're expecting quite a bit more snowfall up there in those pink and pastel regions. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to take a look at the upcoming temperature pattern. Now, here we are by this afternoon. We can see some cooler temperatures here over the west, and then just east of the Rockies, we're seeing that ridging, and then some cooler air here over the northeast. So again, that warm air is able to surge up into this region where we see the ridge. Cool down is pouring down the west coast, and we're seeing a bit of a trough here in the east as well after that cold front came through. So this is what we're seeing currently. As we approach Sunday, it's going to be a lot of the same. Trough in the west, ridge in the central, trough in the east, just like that. Now, Monday, we see the ridge is moving further eastward, so we're seeing something like this. A little bit of a trough there in the east, but it is coming to an end. So that warm air is trying to surge up into the eastern United States here by this point. Tuesday, very hot temperatures move into the eastern half of the country. So we're seeing maybe something like this. Well, that was a little weird. Something like this with the jet stream. So a big ridge in the eastern United States here. Wednesday, we see a lot of the same. This heat wave, what's interesting is the coast stays cooler. We see cloudy conditions, stormy conditions. And the coast might actually luck out and not have this heat wave full-blown in effect for this region. That's by Wednesday. Thursday, the 23rd here, it's a lot of the same for the deep south. We have this really, really deep, just intense heat, but the coast, again, cooler conditions. And we have a tropical system to watch out for as well around this frame for Friday, June 24th. Still temperate along the eastern United States. The more inland you go, though, the more that heat wave is impacting these regions, which is a big shift westward, actually, on the models. For Saturday, we see far below normal temperatures here in the eastern United States for the portions of the southeast, the mid-Atlantic, and the northeast. But for the more inland regions, again, we're still dealing with this really intense heat by this point. Sunday, the 26th, we see a bit of a ridge here in the west, trough here with a big ridge, and then almost like a little mini trough there. But really, it's probably not showing up as a trough. It's probably mostly cloudiness and storminess that is causing those conditions. Monday, we're starting to see things shift where it almost appears like there's more of a trough in the east here, but it's hard to tell. That's the very end of the model run. So things do get a little bit confusing there in the longer range. However, I think we're going to deal with this heat wave a little bit further inland than originally expected. We can expect more cloudy and stormy conditions for the eastern seaboard. that could hold back that heat wave status, and it could just be 80s, maybe even upper 80s some of those days, but just not quite a heat wave for the coast. But for the deep south and the more inland areas, yes, it's looking very, very intense, that heat wave. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on. We're going to take a look at the Storm Prediction Center. Now, this is actually looking relatively quiet as well. We have 2 general thunderstorm risks here on day 1, which is Saturday, June 18th. We have 3 marginal risk areas of severe weather there in the darker green for Montana, 1 there for the deep south, and then 1 there for Florida. That's where we expect isolated severe weather to take place. For day 2 here, which is going to be Sunday, June 19th, we have 1 general thunderstorm risk there in the lighter green, and then we have a marginal risk there for Montana, Wyoming, Nebraska, South Dakota, and North Dakota there. Again, this is where we expect isolated severe weather to occur on day 2 here, Sunday, June 19th. And then for day 3, which is going to be Monday, June 20th, we have 2 general thunderstorm risks, 1 for the deeper south, and then 1 there for the plains, as well as the north central United States. That is, again, where we expect general thunderstorms, but anything is possible, so heed every watch, warning, and advisory. And then we have a marginal risk up there for the Dakotas and Minnesota as well, where we also have a marginal risk, and we expect isolated severe weather to take place. Anyway, for today's confidence tab, we're at a 4 out of 6. We're moving back down because this heat wave is looking a little bit more confusing than originally anticipated. We also have a potential tropical disturbance to watch offshore of the East Coast, so we also need to watch for that one, which is going to make things also fairly interesting. So there's a couple reasons why my confidence is a little bit lower, only because we have some more interesting things going on, I guess is what you could say. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons, Bill Crates, James Wade, Dovin Nagel, Lura LePan, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Carnes as well. I would also like to thank our diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harlem, Kudasa, Catbite, Charleston, Bill Dallas, Garys, and John Calisi also. I'd also like to thank our channel members, Catbite, Steam Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.